Is the voice audible? I'm facing some issues. For some technical issues, give me 2 more minutes. I have been speaking from the past 5 minutes and I realized that my voice is not audible. Is my voice audible, guys? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, great. Okay, finally, I was speaking from the past 5 minutes, man, seriously, and I then got to know that my voice is not audible. Great. Okay, so welcome you guys and welcome you to this stream. We are already learning Power BI from the last class itself, and you all already know what this is all about, right? So, people are joining these sessions for free, and I don't want to ask you any penny as well, not even membership. Many channels also ask you to take memberships and all those things. I don't like those kind of things. Pure free session. And last class we already discussed about few basic concepts, what exactly is Power BI, and all these things we covered last class, right? What is the basic of Power BI, Power BI services, Power BI desktop. We also talked about Power Query Editor. We talked about user experience. We talked about data profiling tools, sorry, group by dialogue, applied steps, appending versus merging, and all those things. And now we'll be talking about the next few topics. And today's class is going to be a little bit intense as compared to day one, because day one in any of the streams, any of the courses is fun to watch, right? And this is where the fun begins. Today's class is going to be on DAX. Now, if you haven't liked the stream, please like the stream in the parallel. We'll get started with what exactly is DAX. Now, this is a very common thing. This is a very common concept, and people are scared about this concept. Many people have also pinged me, sir, explain DAX in details and all those things. So, in this particular video, in this particular session of 2 hours, we will try to aim for at least 100 or 120 DAX functions. I will try to tell you more than 100 DAX functions for sure. Okay, but I'll not be counting it because DAX is like an ocean. So once you start learning few DAX functions, it's all about your practice, how much you want to put efforts, how much you want to practice more and more. Okay, so DAX is simply nothing but data analysis expression. Okay. Now, in Excel, many people are already knowing about. Can you share your PPT? At the end of this particular session, not today, on April 10th, I will. I haven't decided if I'll share it or not, so I'll have to think about it because it's free, and I will talk about that later on. Okay. Anyways, the slides are already available on the sessions, so put some efforts as it is already free. So don't ask for anything else. So what exactly is DAX? DAX, the name itself little bit is confusing, little bit is fancy, right? But it is nothing but data analysis expression. Okay, that means you have to express something in that. Now, many people already know Excel. We also know Excel comes from the MS family, right? From the Microsoft family. And same with Power BI also. Power BI is also coming from the Microsoft family. So DAX is not new. You are already using DAX. Many of you who have started, who knows Excel, you might have already done DAX. Okay, nothing new in this. So just imagine you have five numbers: 5, 10, 15, 20. How to calculate the sum? What we do in Excel is we do equals to sum of, and then we select this cell and drag it, and then something like this comes up, and then your final output is 15, 15, 30, 20, 50. This is what happens on Excel, right? If we open Excel, let's say you want to quickly do something, let's say 5, 15, 20, 30, 50. These are the five numbers. Now if somebody asks you to add these numbers, see, if you just select also, already Excel is giving you these outputs. These are some basic concepts It already gives you average, sum, and all these things. But just in case you want to add them and store it in a cell, that means you are using this cell D9, right? This cell is nothing but D9 cell. Okay, D9. In D9, what you are doing is you are doing equals to sum of what? You are passing various numbers. This till this. Okay. And then bracket close, enter. You can see the sum is 120. So if you see, if you double click on this formula, or if you simply click on this, you will see here equals to sum. This is nothing but DAX function. Okay, so DAX is nothing new. The concepts are already there in Excel. The same concepts we are there, we already have it in Power BI as well. Okay, so sum, average, all these are basic DAX functions. We will be learning some advanced DAX functions as well in this class. But this is the initial idea about DAX functions. Now, what do you need to know if somebody asks you if you know DAX or not? Simple question people ask in interviews. Do you know DAX? And when can you confidently say that you know DAX? Definitely after 2 hours. If you are following this class in a full passionate manner, definitely you will be able to tell that I know DAX. Okay. But DAX is not the end of the world. Like today's class is not the end of the world. Even you talk about any skills, nothing is, you cannot simply finish data science in 2 hours or data science in 40 hours, right? I have been doing data science from the past 7 years. I still learn. Every day I learn. So knowledge is like you learn something and then you put more efforts to know the advanced and difficult topics as well. Okay. So this is the idea. So today in 2 hours we will be learning DAX, but that's going to be around 60-70% of your total DAX. Okay. And rest you learn on the go. Okay. So there is a concept called as contexts. What is context? We will talk about it, but there are two types of context majorly. One is row context and one is filter context. So just imagine you have data and these are some columns you have. Okay. Now just let's say this is age and this is name, this is something else, this is something else, this is something else. Okay. Context basically means we also have context in the next slide. Okay, we'll talk about context in details, but normally just try to understand that context means it's an English term, right? So I don't have to explain what is context. There are two types of context. One is row context. Row context means if you are adding a new column, let's say you are adding something else, age bins, that means for each value there will be a different value in the age bins column, right? So this is called as row context. That means something changes row by row. So each and every row will have a different value. Filter context is basically on the overall table basis. If somebody asks you what is the mean value of the mean age, that means your output is going to be just a single number, and that single number is going to be mean of this column. So this is filter context. That means you are filtering out the table to get the values. Okay. Next concept is formatting. Formatting we will also learn in next class, not today's class. Best practices in Power BI. This is very important. I will also talk about best practices. X versus non-X functions. This comes under DAX. Okay. And this comes under advanced DAX. I will write it as ADAX, which is advanced DAX. There will be some X and non-X functions that we will study today. Something like sum X functions, average X functions, mean X functions, min X functions, max X functions. Okay, these are the 5 functions. We will try to learn 1 or 2 out of them and rest you can practice. The next topic is going to be time intelligence functions. Again, these are something which also comes under advanced DAX. Okay. Now, time intelligence functions, there will be some concepts like till date. year till date, month till date, quarter till date. Okay, so we'll also read about it and I will explain on the go. So similar to here, there are also few more time intelligence functions that I will also explain while we jump into time intelligence functions. Voice again gone? No, everything is all right. Okay. And definitely we will also learn about some functions, average. These are some basic functions. Okay. These are basic DAX functions. Sum, average, mean, max, count, Countrows. Calculate is also, I will not say basic, but yeah, it also comes under basic. Okay. We will also learn about calculate. We will also learn about filter. Okay. Now, if you learn all these things, which I'm going to cover in today's class, most of them I will cover in today's class. Only one or few things like this one and probably this one will be taught in the next class. That will be 3rd of April. Okay. But rest all I will cover today. So definitely you will be able to understand a lot of DAX functions today in this class. Now, what exactly is DAX? Data analysis expression, right? Now, talking about business logics, these concepts are very same. Okay, it's not specific to Power BI. It's relationships will be taught on 3rd of April. Okay, so there are two business logics in business intelligence, irrespective of which tool you are using. You use Power BI, you use Excel, you use whatever you want to. These are some concepts in business intelligence. They have nothing to do with tool. Okay. So we have two concepts. One is measures and one is calculated columns. Now, what is measure? Measure is something basically done on a tabular basis. Calculated column is something which is like a newly created or a newly derived column. For example, very easy example to understand. Let's say you have age 33, 31, 29, 16, and something like that, 90, 91, something like that. You are creating a new column called as age bins. Let's say 33 falls under 0 to 35 category, 0 to 35, 0 to 35, 16 also 0 to 35. This is 60 plus, something like that. So when you are creating new values based on the old values, or you are deriving metrics or you are deriving columns, these are something called as calculated columns. Measures, what are the examples of measure? If somebody asks you what is the max age, let's say the max age is 91, that means for the entire column there is only one value. What is the total sum of age, total sum of salary? All these are measures. That means you have to iterate throughout the entire table and find those values. In simple terms, in SQL, let's say somebody asks you to create or find the sum of a column, sum of salary from table name. Now your output is going to be a single number, right? It's going to be the sum of the salary, right? So it's a single number. So this is nothing but a measure in Power BI terms. What is the difference between measure and calculated columns? Definitely there will be a lot of difference. One is context of evaluation. That means how they are evaluated. Calculated column is row by row, and that is the reason why this is also called as row context, and measures are basically called as filter contexts. They use filter context, they use row context. Okay. Measures evaluated in the context of the cell, evaluated in a report or in a DAX query. Okay. Calculated column computed at the row level within the table it belongs to. So these are some basic understanding behind data analysis expressions. Again, few more slides for the theoretical part, and then we will quickly jump into the practicals. Measures represents a single value per data model. I already told you, like sum function or count function or min function, on max function. All these are going to be your measures. Always computed at runtime. Okay, that means when you run it, you find the value. So again, this is some terms which you need to write it down and then Google after the class is over. What is runtime? What is compile time? I will not be able to explain in details. Dynamic results. Why it is dynamic? What is the meaning of dynamic? That means dynamic means if you're, let's say you are using a database, using the database you are creating some report, right? Now if some value changes here, your report should also get changed, right? This is the dynamic nature. That means measures are dynamic in nature. That means if something changes in the original data, then your measures will also change based on filters. This is also dynamic results, but this is based on rows. Why? Because calculated columns, I told you, right? It is row context. And this is filter context. So filter context and row context. Measures are not attached to any specific table. What does this mean? This simply means, let's say you have a table, customer, and you have a table called as orders. Now, if you want to add the total sum of a column in this table and this table, this can also be called as a measure, which basically means that they are not attached to a specific table. So you can combine multiple tables and also create measures. Okay, everybody is with me? Okay. You have any questions, you can let me know in the comment section so that we can also answer that. But Q&As will only be answered in the last 15 minutes. Okay. Assuming everybody is there, I don't see any chat. Everybody is there, right? Can we write listening or just yes, 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 or something like that? Okay, 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 cool, cool, cool. It's okay. Two, three yeses are enough. Now, the next topic is implicit measures. Okay. Now, I am assuming that you know what is measure and what is a calculated column. Okay. Now, I will be explaining you what is implicit measure. See, these are just some fancy names. That's it. Implicit measure is also a measure, but you need to know these terms as well, because in interviews they might also ask you what is the difference between a measure and an implicit measure. So if you don't know, then you are stuck. Okay. Simple. I will, the word itself is difficult, but the meaning is very simple. If we use a calculated column or a measure to find another measure, it basically means implicit measure. I will give an example. Now, just imagine you have a column called as tenure. Tenure means how old are you in the system. Okay. Now, just imagine you have values like 35, 40, 45, 50, something like that. Okay. Now, just imagine you are creating another column called as tenure underscore years. For example, now this becomes 3 years, this becomes 3 years, this becomes 4 years, this becomes 5 years, or something like that. Now, this is a newly created calculated column. Simple. This is a newly created calculated column. Everybody is clear? Now just imagine on top of this column, you are doing a sum operation, sum of tenure years. Let's say your output is 50. Now I will give a value like x equals to sum of tenure of years. Now we already know x is a measure, right? Because measure, because it is using this dax function, right? It is using sum on the entire column value, so we know that x is measure. But x is a special type of measure, and this type of measure is called as implicit measure. Why it is special? Any change in this particular column will change this. Let's say 35 becomes 85. This will also become, from 3 it becomes 9, right? So change in the original column is impacting change here, and ultimately this is also changed. So this type of measures are called as implicit measures. Okay, simple answer. DAX is great at two things, in particular aggregation and filtering. So let's jump into our first practical part. We will open our Power BI desktop and then we'll talk about aggregation functions. Okay, now aggregation, again, this is also a very important question asked in many interviews. Many of the people have also asked me on LinkedIn what is aggregations and what are the different aggregation functions inside it. See, now as the screen is in front of you, now you know that these are the aggregation functions, but many people forget it. Simple understanding, aggregation means you are aggregating the values, right? So on a entire column you are aggregating it and finding the sum, average, mean or max, or distinct count, or normal count. All these are different aggregation functions. Combining a group of values into one value is called as aggregation. Okay, so in parallel, I will quickly open my notebook. I hope everybody has the file, telco churn file. If you don't have, you have to do some research work. You can go to my GitHub repository and you can search for churn, churn, and you will get something called as churn analysis project Power BI. And then you have to either fork it if you have a GitHub, or you can download it. I don't recommend download, but this is the file. Okay, even without downloading also, you can also just copy like this and paste it in your, you can paste it abc dot csv. This will also work. Okay, just do it all files. This will also work, but it's up to you how you do it. I already have this file. Probably I'll give the link in the description also, but I cannot give you the link right now in the middle of the session. I have already read the file. Okay, I haven't read. Why didn't I read it? Okay, so I'm reading this file, telco churn. So forget about the file. Okay, don't worry about the file. If you have any other CSV file, you can also try it out in that. My data is ready. Now we will quickly start with some basic DAX function. Okay, so we'll start with the basic ones. People who already know DAX, they can probably take a 15 minutes break and come back uh, because we'll go through the basic DAX functions. Okay, sum, average, mean, max, distinct count. Now I will quickly create a card because whatever DAX I'm going to use, I will place it here. Okay, let it be, let 3 box be enough. Okay, let's just do one. Now, on which column should I do the DAX function? Let me find a column. Do we have charges? Yeah, we have total charges. Okay, okay. See, I will first do something without creating DAX and then I will create a DAX and compare. Okay, now just imagine I want the total charges. Total charges is a column, right? Now just imagine total charges is a column. You have customer name, age, blah blah blah. You also have total charges. Now how to find the sum of all the total charges? We can simply do sum of total charges, right, from table name. This is what we do in SQL. Similarly, here also I will just drag my total charges and here I will change it to sum. Now my total charges is visible, right? So we haven't used DAX, but we can also solve it using DAX. How to solve it? Simply click on these three dots, click on new measure. Once you click on new measure, it is asking you what should you name the measure? Let's say we will name it sum of total charges equals to, what should be the formula? Just imagine I have no idea about DAX. I will start typing in sum, right? Because I want to find the sum of total charges. So I will start typing in SU. Oh, Power BI is already giving you suggestions. You can see when I started typing in SU, it already gives you a lot of suggestions. Substitute with index, sum, and you can see here, wherever you are selecting, it is giving you a text to explain what the hell is this, right? Sum adds all the numbers in a column. Summarize creates a summary that input table grouped by specified columns. Sum x, we will also learn sum x. So let's try to use sum. So sum, okay, sum basically adds all the numbers in a column. Okay, I will do sum. The moment I clicked on sum, automatically you can see I'm not doing anything. Power BI is super easy, super friendly for you to learn. And even DAX functions working in Power BI is super simple, because Power BI itself will help you out in wherever possible way. Okay. Now, the moment I typed in sum, let's say it's SU, and then I double clicked on this, automatically it shows on which column do you want to find the sum. Let's say, just imagine there are so many columns, you don't remember which column. You start typing in total charges. Oh, is this one? Yes. Just double click and done. You don't have to write anything from scratch. Bracket close. So literally, I have only written 2 or 3 characters. That's it. I started writing in SU. I got a suggestion. I clicked on sum. Automatically, this bracket was created. Then automatically, these values were created. And then I closed the bracket. That's it. So my measure is created. You can see measure looks like this calculator symbol. Okay, so measure is created. Now we will cross check. So I will copy paste this. Let's say I will copy paste here. Okay, and here I am not using the original column. Here I am using total charges. Okay, I'm doing the sum operation. Here I'm just using sum of total charges. You can see. So you can find it using DAX. You can also find it without using DAX. But these are some very basic things. That is the reason we don't need DAX for them. But there are many, many, many complicated scenarios where we have to create DAX functions so that we can create measures and create calculated fields. Okay. Similarly, I can also tick a box here. If you already know sum, average, mean, max, all these are very simple as well. So average, mean, max, you can try by yourself. I will start showing you how distinct count and how count works. Okay. So similarly, I will start creating another measure. Let's say here I want to find record count. I will start typing in. See, I don't know what is the formula of the total count or something like that. But I know the term count, right? Now I start typing in count. Oh, count is already here. Counts the numbers in a column. So you can see in Power BI, there are one is count. Okay. One is count. And you can see one is count rows. What is count rows? Counts the number of rows in a table. Count rows is counts the number of rows in a table. And what is count? Count the numbers in a column. Counts the numbers in a column. Now, remember one thing, very simple. Don't panic. Every table has a primary key. What is a primary key? That primary key is something which keeps the table distinct, right? Let's say if you are analyzing customers, customer ID is a primary key. Why do I have only, okay, One second. Just one second. Okay, okay. I should hire I should hire somebody. Okay. That's more okay. Now I see. Now I feel more motivated because I see 74 people watching the stream. 5 minutes back, it were it was 38. Okay, coming back to the topic, count means counts the numbers in a column. Count rows counts the number of rows in a table. So count rows is nothing but select count star from table name. Simple. What is count? When you use count with a column, you should always use your primary key. Primary key from table name. And these both will return you the same output. Okay. Now, if you have duplicated values, if you don't have a primary key, in that case, these will not give you, you know, same values. But logically speaking, if you have a primary key, then it will give you same results. Okay. Now let's try to create a count function. Count function takes column name. Count function takes column name, and count rows takes table name. Okay. Both are same. Don't worry about it. So I start typing in count, double click, already it came. It is asking for a column name. I will start typing in which column name, what is the primary key. Let's say customer id, bracket close, tick. My count operation is created, my count measure is created. Primary key is unique, yes. Okay, so my count is ready, record count. Now I will also create another measure, record count using count rows. Count rows, click on it, and then it is asking for table. Which table? Scroll down or else start typing your table name, telco churn. It will already recommend you, bracket close. That's it. Very, very easy to start with DAX. Okay, done. My both the methods are done. Now we will test it. So I have created one here and I have created one here. Here I will use record count and here I will use record count using count rows. You can see both are same. Okay. So how many DAX functions did we study now? One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, average and min max all are same. Okay, these are some basic DAX functions. Power BI example. Now this is an example and this is how the formula looks like, and I will explain you what are the different parameters of a formula. Let's do a sum of column operation. How to check if it is correct? See, whenever you are using DAX function, let's say you are using DAX function. What you have used here? Sum of total charges. What is sum of total charges? Sum of this. Always validate the results. What do you mean by that? That means if your initial data set, the data set that you are using is an Excel sheet, then validate with your original data set. So I will now validate it with my original data set. So where is my data set? I forgot the location. Okay, it is here. Okay, I will go to my location and then open here. Oh, this one. Oh, open here. Okay, so this is my data set. Now, always whenever you are getting started with DAX function, always validate results. If you are using MySQL database, using your database, you are creating something in Power BI. Can you rely on these values? No, right? You should always validate. Whenever you are creating a measure or something, always validate in the original data set. Okay. Which means, where is our PBI? Okay, here. 16.06 million is the sum of total charges. So we will try to go to the total charges column, click on this. You can see sum of this is Okay, we'll try to use DAX and check it out. Sum of this is something this, and I will also use a round function. Round of this, see, 16. Oh, let's try to get the exact value. Data label none. You can see 16059123, 16059123. That means your DAX function is working fine. Okay, that is the whole meaning of this particular line. That means always validate. Let's say 7043. How to validate it? Simply, you can just select your customer ID. You can see 7044, which includes your header. Okay, so 7043. You can also validate using the record count function also. Count of a, uh, count of, how to this, why it is coming as 0. Count the number of cells in the range that contain. Okay, it is for numbers. Okay, this is for numbers. So count rows is not there in Excel. Anyways, the whole idea is to validate your results. If you are using a SQL database, validate it using your SQL database by doing select count star from table name, or select sum of this from table name. Okay, the formula is like this. This is your built-in DAX function. This is your table name, this is your column name, and this is your variable name, or name of the measure, or name of the calculated column that you create. Okay, next slide. Now we will get started with Power BI functions. What is the time right now? Let me check. Okay, we have time, enough time. So these are some basic functions: sum, average, mean, max, count rows, that we already covered. Now we will talk about one more function, which is date diff and date add. What is date diff? See, from the name itself, it is already understandable that date diff basically is nothing but it gives you the difference in the date. Okay. Date add, basically, let's say you are, today's date is 23rd September 2022. You add few days to it and want to create another column, it will add and show you. That is nothing but your date add function. Okay, but again, we will also talk from this point of view that we don't know what the hell is this. We will jump into Power BI and we'll try to use another file, another time related file where we have time column. So I will be using air passengers. Again, if you don't know about this air passengers data, it's a very common data set found on Kaggle. You can download it, or else wait till tonight. After the session is over, I will also be able to upload the files. Okay, so I'll load it. Once I load it, now you can see Telcochan is here, air passengers is also here. I'll create a table. Okay, what is air passengers? I'll create date and then I'll create passengers. Let's try to increase the fonts a little bit. Great. Okay, that's kind of okay. Okay, expand it. So this is your data, right? Now we will try to use a date add function and date diff function. Date diff and date add. So let's try to create a new column. Okay, let's say I want to add new date. Before that, I will also talk about few more date functions. Let's try to create a card. I will be creating today's date. Okay, so I'll create a measure. Today's date is equals to today. Okay, you can see when I start typing in today, It is showing me returns the current date in to date time format. Okay, today's date is ready, just add it. So this is today's date. Okay, video is blurry because of your resolution, it's not because of my stream. Okay, I mean, come on, these are basics of YouTube, right? So it has nothing to do with my camera and all those things. So this is my today's date. So how did I create today's date? By simply using today function. Now, how to create today function in SQL? I hope everybody knows. You know about sysdate, right? We create sysdate from dual to find today's date, right? Just imagine you want to format this. You want to format it. You only want the date or month or year or something like that. You can also use format function. Let's say I will create another measure with formatting. Today's date formatted. So here instead of today, I will first typing format. So format is nothing but converts a value to text in the specified number format. Guys, anybody else is having some stream issues? Just increase the quality of your stream to 720 pixels and that should be fine for you. Okay. Else, if there is some blocker you are not able to do because of your internet, then probably you can skip the class and watch it out later. But I will not keep the videos live forever. Okay. So it's up to you. So format, see, I will again type in format. Okay. We will try to read what is format. Format is converts a value to text in the specified number format. So I'll start typing in format. It is asking ki give me two things. Give me the value and give me which format do you want. Let's say I will give the value as today's value, today's date. So here I'm directly calling today function, and then upon you can see the, notice this thing. I am in the first object. So value is bolded, not bolded, value is bold, right? The moment I type in comma, you can see the second value is bold right now. I mean, the second part is bold. So this is how your Power BI is created. It also is very user friendly. Click on comma and Power BI knows that you are now typing format. So which format? Let's say I want to pass MMM format and bracket close. Let's say I take it. I'll copy paste this and then I will remove the old one and I will add the. You can see today's day is 27th of March and we have used our what did we use? We have used only month, right? If you want something else, DD, I'm not sure DDMMYY should work. Yeah, you can see DDMMYY also worked. So apart, so as per your it's up to you how you want to create, which date do you want to show. It's all in your hands. Okay, if you want to show it in MMDDYY format, you can do it. If you want to change it to MMDDYYYY, you can do it. Up to you. If you want to change it to YY, up to you, you can do it. 22, it's all up to you how you create it. Okay, so this is how formatting works. So now I will make a list of it. Okay, how many functions did we read? Sum, average, mean, max, count, count rows, all these things we studied. Distinct count is also one which you can also practice by yourself. Today function, format function. Now we will quickly jump into date add. Now date add, we will do date add. Okay, so just imagine. Let me just change this table to date. Okay, now just imagine you want to create another tab, another column. which should display 1 month. What do I say, like, which should display a future date. Let's say if it is January, it should display Feb. That means the next month, or next to next month. That means you are adding 2 months to it. That means you are going to create a calculated column, right? Because for first row it will be March, for second row it will be April, for third row it will be May, for fourth row it will be June, right? So I want to create a calculated column using date add function. So I will use new column. So I will name it as date add column equals to, I'll start typing in date. The moment I start typing in date, you can see so many things are available, right? So here I will use date add. So what is date add? Let's say I am going to add dates. Date add moves the given set of dates by a specified interval. Main thing is how we will know which DAX function to use. That is up to experience. That nobody can explain you which scenario you have to use what. Okay, it's all experience. The moment you start working on projects and you are stuck and you want to do something, that's where your brain should open up and you should think, oh, I can solve it using this DAX function or that DAX function. Nobody will be able to spoon feed you which DAX function to use in which scenario. Okay, so date add. So date add is expecting dates first. So I will pass my first date, which is date underscore m, comma, number of intervals do you want to pass? Let's say I want to add 2 months, comma, which interval do you want to add? Do you want to increase the days, months, quarters, or years? If you do month, close it, and now your new calculated column is ready. Just add it to the bucket, and you can see this is January 1 and this is March 1. Okay, January and March 1, February 1, April 1. That means 2 months are increased. So that is what you have done here. You have added 2 months to this particular date function. Okay, now we will do date difference. Let's say I will do date difference. Now again, example. Now we'll take example in Excel. Okay, just imagine you have, oh, let's take here. Okay, let's say you have Jan 1, Jan 5, Jan 10, Feb 25. These are some dates you have. Okay, another date you have is Jan 5, Jan 10, Jan 11, Jan Feb 29. Now you want from these two columns what is the difference in the number of days, or what is the difference in number of months, or what is the difference in the number of years. In that case, you will have to use date diff function. Okay, so date diff function we have to use. So I will now I have two date columns, one this and one this. So I'll create another column, date diff in days. Okay, so that means this minus this, how many days do we have? From January 1 till February till March 1. How many days? Probably it should be 31 plus 29 should be around 60 days. So we will try to do date diff. The moment I start typed date diff, it is asking me date diff returns the number of units between the input two dates. So it is asking for date 1, date 2 and interval. Okay, so what is date 1? Let's say date 1 is our date m column. So date m, comma, second date, this one, comma. Uh, you want difference in days, hours, or what? I want difference in days. I'll click. So my date diff function is ready. So now I will add it. You can see the difference in days between these two date is 59, 59, 61, something like that. If you want to find the difference in the number of uh, month, you can see the difference in the number of month is 22222 throughout. Okay. If you want to find the difference in hour, you can also do hour. Okay, something like that. Date add functions, scenarios. uh, Immediately thinking about scenarios will be difficult. uh, could be any scenario. If I think about a scenario, I'll tell you. Okay, so these are the two different date diff functions. Oh, I had something. Sorry. Date diff functions. Date diff and date add. Similarly, what else date function do we have? Let's try to check. New date function equals to date diff, date add, dates between. It will give you the returns the dates between two given dates. Okay, these are also same. MTD QTD we will study. First date basically gives you the first date in a particular column. If you type in and then you type, let's say you want the first date in this particular column and type in. Now this has to be a measure. So you will just add, where is that? This one. You can see the first date is January 1st. Okay. If you want the last date, you can do last date. Sometimes your manager might also ask you, right? So uh, show me the last date or the first date in the given date or the given scenario or the given selection of the reports. Why it didn't change? Last date of date of M. Oh, why it is showing me earliest automatically? Maybe I don't know. Okay. Anyways, so these are the different date functions. You can try it out. I'll think of a scenario for date diff and date add. Yes, yes, you can calculate age from you can calculate age. So let's say you want to calculate age. Let's say this is your birth date. So you can also calculate, right? I have here this particular date add function is nothing but let's say you have today's date. Let's say you want to find age. Date diff. Just imagine this date underscore m is your age. Sorry, it's your birthday. So you need to pass date m, and then you have to pass today's date, and then you have to pass year. Simple, right? And then click on this, and then add your new function. So age is 62, then 62, 73. These are your different things. So there are multiple scenarios where you can get started with it. Now, probation period equals to this we already studied. This we also already studied. Date, diff, and average. Now we will take a 2 minutes break. I need to have some water. My throat is drying up. Well, let's take a 2 minutes break and then I will quickly be back and we'll talk about calculated function. Okay. 2 minutes break. Okay, we'll start. My screen is visible, everything is done. Okay. Now we'll talk about calendar function. Okay. So how does calendar function looks like? Uh, I will start creating another page for calendar function. So my voice is audible again. Give me a yes. 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 Voice is audible, guys. Hello. Hello. Okay. Okay. So we'll start with calculated table. Now the first method that we are going to talk about right now is going to be calendar. Now calendar is a very important concept in Power BI. It basically creates a date table with a date per day between the specified range. Also creates a date hierarchy. Now let's try to understand a scenario where calendar is used. Just imagine you have time series data. Okay, you have a time series data. See, simple time series data is a data where one of the columns is a date column. Okay, and that date column, the values are always in same time difference. That means Jan, then Feb, then March. This is called as time series data. Okay, so imagine a scenario. Let's say you have data like this: Jan 1, then you have Feb 1, then you have March 1, then April you don't have, May 1, June 1, you don't have July, then you have August 1. So there could also be scenarios where your data is like this. This is also called as time series data because there are only one or two cases where the data points are missing. That's it. But when we use this kind of data, let's say you are using this kind of data. So if there is a filter on your Power BI dashboard and you select February, March, April, then you select April. So this table will definitely be null. It will not show any values because April data does not exist. So in these kind of scenarios, what we do is we create another calendar function which basically creates another column like January, February, March, April, May, and then you combine these two data. And then if you build a report, now you have April. So automatically what happens is April is not present here, but it is present here. So automatically it will able to identify that April is available, but the value is going to be 0. So this is where you create calendar functions. There are many more case use cases on where to use calendar functions. Let's try to create a calendar function. Okay. So calendar function. Okay. Now you can see these three functions, these three areas. One is your report, one is your data, and one is your relationships or model. Model I will be covering next class. So we will go to this particular data section. Okay. Now I will create a new table. Okay. New table. So the name of my table is new table. So what I will do, I will start with a calendar function. What is calendar? Returns a table with one column of all dates between the start date and the end date. Okay, imagine your manager. Okay, now in this particular case, you have data from Jan 1949 till December 1960. Okay, so almost 1949, almost 12 years of data you already have. Imagine your manager tells you, I want to create a dashboard which should only contain the last 5 years data. Okay. And if you have any missing values and all those things, deal with it. So now what you need to do, either what you can do is you can reduce this data and manually select it by filters. Okay. For an example, you go back to your main screen and manually select a filter. Let's say I'll close this first. Let's say you are displaying, let's say I'm displaying a line chart. So let me just delete it first. So you have date in your axis and you have which one? Passengers in your values. Okay, something like this. Now your manager asks you, can you just create this graph for 5 years? Yes, it is possible. You can simply go to your date hierarchy or this year and select your filters, right? Advanced filter or basic filtering, and then select it manually. This is also possible, nothing to worry about. Okay, but there are certain scenarios where we also create calendar tables and deal with it, because calendar tables are way easier. Now, how to create a calendar table? So I'll create a new table equals to, I'll start typing in calendar returns a table with one column of all dates between start date and end date. So I'll click on this. Automatically it is asking, give me a start date and an end date. And I will create a column. Okay. Now I don't have a start date or an end date. What I can do, I can simply create a date function. Date of 1949, month, day. Second one, date of 19, let's say 50, month 12, date 21, 31. So that means I'm creating a calendar function or a calendar table of 24 months starting from 1949 till 1950 end. I don't care about any other years. Okay. So click on this. So your table is ready. Now, once your table is ready, you can also create multiple other concepts. So you can simply click on column tools, and you can also create multiple other columns as well. Let's say I want to create the year from it. I just want the year. So let's say I will name it as year number. There is a method called as year. So once you click on year, it is showing you returns the year of a date as a 4-digit integer. You click on this, it is asking you date. Now you start typing in date. You can see you have to pass this new table brackets date. That means you are passing this date. Bracket close, done. So your year number is ready. Similarly, you want to create few more columns. Let's say you want to create month number. Month number. How can we create? Simply month. Month of what? Month of date. Bracket close. My month number is also ready. Now, I will ask you a simple question. Okay, maybe you will not be able to answer. Let's not waste time. So now I want the month name. Now, if it is 1, it should be January. If it is 2, it should be February. If it is 3, it should be March. So, what I will do here, I will create a new column. Month name equals to, what I will do? I will do formatting. Format of what? Format of this particular column. So, I'll pass new table date, comma. Which format do you want? Month. And then click on this. Oh, no. MMM. I think MON should give MON. I don't know if how to print the entire thing. I don't remember. Okay, five M's. Okay. Many things you don't know. You just have to type in and then, oh, I think 4 M's. Okay. So 4M is giving you the month name. If you want 3 characters, you can type in 3 M's. Okay. Something like that. So this is how you create your month name. Similarly, multiple other calendar functions are also available. So let's say you want to find the quarter name or quarter number. Quarter number. Quarter of what? Of new table, date, bracket close, give. So all these things are easy. These all things are easy to create. So now if you go back to this one, you can see you have your new table here. Okay. And then you can simply use the new table to plot the data and all those things. We'll quickly jump into context. We already covered context somehow, row context and filter context. We have been using it for all our calculated columns so far. Let's revisit our first DAX. We haven't created this function, but yeah, this is also a very simple round function. Okay, so you are doing round of a column and then comma 2. This is how you also do it in Excel sheets. Let's say you are doing a round of this one, round of this comma 1, oh sorry, this round of this comma, oh, comma 1. So your round function is this way. Similarly in Power BI also you can do the round function. Okay, notice we expect a value per table, per row in a table. This runs at import and gets sorted, might increase file size as well. Thank you, Venkatesh, for answering. Filter context also we already covered, measures. Now comes the calculate and filter functions. We'll try to go a little bit fast because we just have 30 minutes left and then we'll go for Q&A. So how many likes did we get so far? 70 likes. People watching the stream, please like it. I mean, there is no compulsion. If you like the stream, then like. Okay. So we'll quickly jump into calculate and filter. Okay. Please like the stream if you're liking it and enjoying it, and do forward the videos to your colleagues and all those things as well, so that they can also join in live. Now we'll quickly talk about calculate function. Calculate is simply nothing but it is used to calculate. Okay, that means if you want to calculate the total sum or you want to calculate something, calculate is a simple English word. And here also in the context of Power BI, we are using calculate to calculate something, breaking out of the filter context. Now this looks complicated, but I will try to simplify it. Okay. So how to use calculated? Let me just delete this. It's always recommended, if you are not opening Power BI, you can simply open up a notebook or something and just write it down. Okay, whatever functions I'm teaching, just write it down. And then after the class, you can give 2 hours or 3 hours of time and then practice yourself without watching the videos. Okay, because if you watch the videos and practice, there is no learning. So whatever you are learning in the class, note it down in your notebooks and practice it without the video. And so we'll try to learn what is calculate. Now let's say I want to find the total charges. Okay, sum of total charges using calculate. So what I can do, I will find the sum of total charges. See, simply I can also do sum of total charges, right? This will also give me the, it is already used. Okay, sum of total charges new. Okay, sum of total charges new. See, using sum also it is easy, right? But I will try to use calculate and solve it. Now, when you are typing in calculate, calculate is nothing but evaluates an expression in a context modified by filters. Don't go with the full sentence if you don't understand. Simply, I will explain you. Calculate function is created so that it can work with filters. Okay. Example. People want example. We'll give example. Now you have table, right? Here in this case, you have customer ID, you have gender, you have location, you have monthly charges, you have total charges, right? If somebody asks you to find the sum of total charges, yes, it is easy. For this, you can use sum function, right, in Power BI. Now, if I ask you, what is the sum of total charges for females? And similarly, what is the sum of total charges for male? Can we simply use sum function and do it? No. Now, you will not be able to do it using sum function. In SQL, how to solve this? It's very simple, right? Select sum of total charges from table name where gender equals to male. This will give for male, and where gender equals to female, it will give for female. Simple. Everybody is clear with this? Here, this part is nothing but the filter part. Okay. This is the filter. That means you are filtering it. So, whenever you are using filter, in that case you might have to use calculate function. You cannot simply use sum and solve it. So now I will use calculate. Using calculate function is also very easy. Okay, now you see it is asking for expression, and then it is asking for filter. So what is an expression? Expression is nothing but this part, sum of something. That means some expression you are passing, and then this part is your filter part, this entire part. So I'll pass my expression. What is my expression? My expression is sum of total charges, bracket close. The moment I type in comma, this filter will be activated, comma, filter is activated. Now, till now, it's this part where gender equals to female. Now I will start typing in filter gender equals to female, bracket close, tick. Now you can see 7.96. Okay, similarly I will copy paste this, similarly I will copy paste another. So here I will be using the sum of total charges. Here I am using gender equals to female. Copy this, will create another sum of total charges, male, and here I will change it to male. See, if you want, I can write it down again. Okay, calculate. After calculate, I am passing expression and then filter. Don't memorize it. Don't memorize it. It will automatically, you will understand. Once you create 5 or 6 calculate functions, you will understand. Expression is nothing but what you need to pass. What do you want? Here I want some operation on that table, on that column. Sum of total charges, bracket close, comma. Automatically filter is selected. What filter? I want gender. The moment you start typing in gender, you already have telco churn gender. Click on this, equals to quote male, bracket close, and then tick, and then use that, sorry, use that 8.10. So this is for female and this is for male. Okay, and this is the total charges, overall total charges. So this is how your calculate function works. Okay, very simple. Another thing, apart from this, I will just note it down. Okay, I will note it down in notepad. See, I will divide the function into this one. Okay, let us just do this. Sum of this and then this and then this. So this is your calculate function. Similarly, you can also use a filter function. Okay. Now let's try to use a filter function. Next slide is also talking about the same filter. You can also use this keyword. So I will try to solve and we will create another new measure, sum of total charges mail using filter. So here I will again start from scratch. I am passing expression sum of total charges bracket close comma filter. So the moment I type in filter, evaluates an expression in a context modified by filters. Filter. Filter is asking on which table do you want the filter? Okay. I want filter on telco churn. Telco churn. Comma. What is the filter expression? Gender equals to male. Brackets close. Yes. One more brackets close. Yes. See, how did I figure out I have to uh, close it using two brackets? The moment I start, I mean, the moment I finish my coding part, the moment I type a bracket, you can see this bracket is highlighted, right? That means this bracket is getting closed here. Another bracket, this bracket is getting closed here. Done. Click on this. So my new function is ready. I will copy paste this. I will delete it and I will use the new one. You can see both are same. So both are same. You can do using without filter. You can do with the filter also. Nothing wrong with it. Filter method basically helps you. It is better because once in case you have to use filters on multiple other columns where you have multiple relationships, in that case filter could be more beneficial. Okay, but these are the two different ways of having the calculate functions. These are some basic concepts. Variable equals to this is your variable name, sorry, the data type, the variable name. This is how you initiate in your primitive languages, right? Similarly in Power BI also it works the same way. Now give me a break, give me 1 minute. Now we'll talk about if else blocks. Just give me 1 minute of break. Okay, 71 people are watching. Good, keep watching. Okay, at the end of the sessions, maybe after third session and the fourth session, I'll also try to release my Power BI course as well. But as I told you, it's up to you if you want to take it or not. But uh, for some of the users I can make it free, maybe for the first 50 users or something like that. Else it's up to you, because whatever I am already covering in these 4 sessions, that's more than enough. So nothing to worry about. Power BI gateway, yes, I have it in the next class. Okay, we'll quickly talk about if else and nested if blocks. So what is if else block? In It's a normal, programming concept. If else, that means if this, do this, else do this. So let's say if age is greater than 50, mark them as old, else mark them as new, something like that. So if you want to pass the same in Power BI, you have to pass if age greater than equals to 60, comma, that means old, else young. So this is how you write if commands, if else commands. If this, then this, else this. If you are using multiple if else blocks, let's say you are having a age column, okay, you are creating another column called as age bins. Now imagine your age column has these values. You have 21, 23, 29, 31, 35, 61, 19, 45, something like that. You are creating different bins. One is 0 to 20, another is 21 to 40, another is 41, 40 plus or 41 plus. Okay. So what can we do here? Let's say, imagine we have two scenarios, 0 to 20 and 21 plus. Okay. That means it's a simple command, equals to if age greater than 20, then 21 plus, else 0 to 20. This is how it will work in this particular case. If you have two categories or three categories, 21 to 40 and 40 plus or 41 plus or whatever it is, here what happens is, if age is greater than, what you need to do is, if age is greater than 40, then make it 41 plus, else you have to do here, if this, then this, else if age is greater than 20, then 21 to 40, else 0 to 20. If you do this, then you're sorted. This is nothing but if this, then this. So if age is greater than 40, then it is 41 plus, else if age is greater than 20, then it is 21 to 40, else it is 0 to 20. Okay, this is how your if else and nested if else looks like. So exactly the same thing what we will do here is, we'll try to create a else if complex else if blocks. Okay, so let's try to give them, like, write it down in the this side. Here I will create a table so that we can compare the values. Okay, I'm just closing it so that the text is visible to you properly. Now let's say I'm going to do it on, do we have age? No, we don't have. We have tenure. Tenure, okay, we have tenure. So here tenure is showing as a number because it is summarized. Okay, we'll make it, don't summarize it. We'll also have customer ID, so that, and we'll also have few more contract dependent, something like that. Okay, these are the different values that we have. Let me just increase the grid a little bit. Okay, this is how my table looks like. These are my tenure. Okay, now if you want to create a if else block, so what we can do is, you can create a new column, tenure bins. If tenure is greater than, how many values do we have here? It's very difficult. Let me just, let me just have, okay, I think we have 72. Okay, so let's make it, so we'll do maybe we'll create few scenarios. We'll create a scenario like this, okay? 0 to 20, 21 to 40, and 41 plus. So here, tenure bins, I'll start writing in if my tenure is greater than 40. That means it is above 40 or maybe 40 plus, whatever it is. Else it is below 40. For the time being, let's try to create this. Is already used for a column on table. Choose a tenure bins is already created. How? Okay, let's try to create tenure bins new. Okay. Now I will add tenure bins. Tenure bins. You can see for for numbers which are below 40, they are showing it as below 40, and for numbers which are, let me try to give a filter here. We'll try to select few of them, maybe 13, 69, 39, 11, something like that. Okay. You can see for tenure which are more than 40, they are showing it as above 40, and less than 40 is basically showing you below 40, right? Now I'll try to make it little bit more complex. Let me just delete this one because we are not using it. Delete from model. Okay. Now I will try to make it little bit complex. So I'll copy it and I will paste it. This basically means, let me just write it down, then I will explain you. Okay. So this is nothing but 20 to 40, and this is below 20. If tenure is greater than 40, then above 40, else. If tenure is greater than 20, then 20 to 40, else below 20. The moment I click on tick, you can see the values have changed. And this is how it becomes more and more complex also. If you are having multiple other bins, let's say 0 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, so your if else becomes huge, right? Now can we create such column without using DAX functions? Yes, we can create. Let me just copy this. So here I have used this DAX function, right? If this, then this, else if this, then this, else this. We can also create this functionality without creating a DAX function. How can we do that? Go to transform data, click on add column, click on conditional column. Here, click on tenure bin Power Query Editor. That means this column we have created using Power Query Editor. If my tenure, we will use the same logic that we have used here. If tenure is greater than 40, is greater than 40, then make it above 40. Else, if tenure is greater than 20, then make it 20 to 40. Else make it below 20. Greater than 40. So what will be 40? Okay, 40 will become here. 20 to 40. What will be 20? 20 will come here. Okay, got it. Correct. So else this. Click on OK. Now you can see tenure bin PQU is ready. Now I will go back to the home screen and we will compare what is the difference between the two columns that we have created. So here I will add my tenure bins PQE. You can see both are same. You can see, you can compare the results at your own screen as well. You can see both are same. Now the question is whether do you need DAX or not. See, scenarios where you are able to generate easily, you don't need DAX. There are certain scenarios where you cannot do it manually. It will be very difficult for doing. In those scenarios, you have to use DAX functions. Okay. And DAX functions are, where is data available? Data is already available on GitHub. I already explained in the initial few minutes of the class. Okay. You can join the WhatsApp group and get all the details there also. People will be able to help you out. So this is how you create your if else blocks. Now the most important topic of today's class, which is going to be time intelligence function. What is time intelligence function? Time intelligence function, probably this will be the last thing to cover today. Probably, if time permits, we will go through X non X. Else, I think we can do a extended session as well. Nothing to worry about. Time intelligence functions enables user. See, time intelligence functions are not date time functions. Time intelligence functions are some functions which are related to date, but they are not basically your date time functions. Okay, they enable user to manipulate date using time periods such as years, quarters, months, and days. Now, this is one of the most important function because many people on day-to-day activities they do use these functions, and this is also one of the most classic questions asked in interviews. I myself ask this question. Okay, so people who probably goes through my interview, you'll have to answer these questions. I ask what is YTD, QTD, MTDs, and all those things. These are the most common time periods. YTD, that means year to date. QTD, quarter to date, month to date, last year, full year, rolling 12 months. All these are your different time intelligence functions. Now, what exactly is YTD? We'll take an example and explain. Now, we will take example here. Okay. Why did I write March? I don't know. Let me just erase it. Okay. I'll start with January. January 2018. Sorry, Feb 2018, March 2018, April 2018, May 2018, June, July, August, September, October. Okay, let's do till October. Just imagine we have data till October. Okay. Now, what are the data? Let's say 100, 120, 50, 70, 120, 60, 50, 90, 110, 80. So I should have October, November, December, 10 records, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, these are the 10 records. Now, if somebody asks you what is the total value of sales, if this is sales, okay, this is sales in $1 million. Okay, just imagine. Anyways, it's not going from my pocket, so I don't care, right? So $1 million or make it $1 billion, I don't care. So this is sales, right? Now, if somebody asks you what is the total sales, then you know what to do, right? Simple, sum of total sales. What if your manager asks you create a filter or create a slicer if the user is selecting March? It should only show you data till March. That means anything beyond March on the screen, it should not be visible. Okay. So there are some scenarios where we use YTD, MTD, and QTD. Just imagine you have created a report for your client, right? And your report is created like this, like this, like this, something like that. And here you have your slicer. Now, if somebody wants to see what is my revenue so far in this particular month, then you can easily add a slicer, right? You can add a month slicer. If I select March, I will see 50. If I select April, I will see 70. If I select May, I will see this. But what if the requirement is a little bit tricky? If I select March, I want the data till date. That means I want the yearly data till date. That means what is the total sales of my company till March? Till March. That means till date. This is where this concept comes, to date, to date, to date. So year to date is nothing but, if you are selecting, let's say I'll take a quick example and I explain. Imagine I have selected May on my screen. Okay, so my YTD data will be year till date. That means in this particular year, till the date the user has selected, what is the total sales? The total sales is 100 plus 120, 220 plus 50, 270, 340 and 460. 460 million dollar. 460. If somebody selects month till date, that means what is the revenue on this particular month till date? That means 120. Okay. Quarter till date. What is the revenue of this particular quarter till date? So April, May, and June falls in quarter 2. So your output will be 190. Very simple concept. Automatically, if the user changes this to, let's say, June, can somebody tell me for June what will be the, okay, let's not talk about June. Let's talk about August. Okay. My question is, I have selected till August. What will be the YTD value? What will be the MTD value? And what will be the QTD value? Can you write down in the comment section? What will be year till date, month till date, and quarter till date? Year till date, how much? Will be combination of all the data. I'm expecting answers. It will be all the data till August, right? That's going to be year till date. Am I, is the class going on? I don't see any answers. Are you guys watching? Okay. What is year till date? Year till date is the values till August. What will be month till date? Simply August data, which is 90. What will be quarter till date? This is first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. So this quarter till date will be a combination of 50 and 90, which is 140. So these are nothing but your till date functions, and these are time intelligence functions. Okay. Now we'll try to open a time intelligence function. I already have a data set. Sorry, somewhere I should be having time intelligence. I already have this time intelligence Power BI file, so we don't have to write it from scratch. So I'll quickly, uh, yeah, good one. I'll quickly open that and show you, and I will also pass you this file, or else, I mean, you can just practice from the classes also. Correct, correct. Good job, good job. Now, this is a time intelligence function small dashboard that we have created. Again, it's ugly, but we don't care because we are just learning topics, right? So you can see previous passengers, passengers this month, passengers next month, passengers YTD. That means how many passengers year till date. Here I also have total MTD previous, total QTD previous. That means if my selection is May 2010, there you can also find what is the sales on May 2009. That means the exact sales for this particular month last year. That is also possible using time intelligence function. Total YTD previous year. All these things we will cover. Now, passengers this month is very simple, right? What is passengers this month? You can simply do pass count, which is nothing but sum of all the passengers. Here I have a month slicer. If we was a selected, you can see passengers this month is 141. So March 1950. March 1950, where is it? March 1950, 141. Okay. So current month passengers are 141. So I have used a sum function. Previous month, you can see for previous month, I have used calculate function and I have also used previous month as a filter. See, I will try to solve it using SQL. So if you already have, so again, I'll not write the entire query, but it's something like this. Sum of passengers from table name where date equals to date minus 1 month, something like this. Syntactically, okay, it's like just a pseudocode, okay, something like this. So here you are using this as a filter, right? That means date equals to date minus 1 month. So this particular thing, Power BI has already given you a function called as previous month. Okay, so let's try to use previous month. Let's try to create what exactly is previous month. I'll create a new function, sorry, new measure, previous month. What is previous month? I will do previous. Oh, previous month is already created. Previous month. Previous month is already created. You can see previous month of air passengers. Sorry, previous month of air passengers. So if you want to show the previous month, let's say I'll create a card and I will pass previous month. You can see the previous month is nothing but, let me just filter it out. We will format it. Format previous month on what? MMM or MMMM. Okay. You can see the previous month is Feb. The selection is March. March 1950. The previous month is Feb. So imagine I am using this entire previous month as a filter. So here past previous is nothing but, if I have to write it again from scratch, calculate of what? Of sum of air passengers and then previous month. Air passengers previous month of what? Of air passengers month, bracket close, bracket close. Okay, this is previous month. Similarly, I'll copy paste it. I can also do the same thing for the next month also, right? Past next will be, instead of previous month, there will be next month. Okay, so here I'm using past next. You can see next month is used as a filter. What is passengers year till date? Look at this, March 1950. What will be the year till date? 115 plus 126, 126 plus 141, which is 382. So my year till date is 382. Okay, how to create it? I am creating it using total YTD function. It's very simple. If you start writing in total YTD, evaluates the specified expression over the interval which begins on the first day of the year and ends with the, uh, you can read it when you have time. Okay, total YTD. I will directly start. I have no knowledge about total YTD. Okay, so initially it is asking for expression. What is expression? Expression means sum of air passengers, and then it is asking for air passengers, then it is asking for dates, month, one second. Why it is taking two air passengers? Okay, then bracket close, tick. You can see this one. Similarly, if you want to find the total QTD, this is March, okay, and March falls in first quarter. So total QTD will also be similar to total YTD. If you want to create, you can also create a new measure. Total QTD new equals to, let's say I'm just copy pasting it. Instead of total YTD, I'm changing it to QTD. That's it. Click on tick. Now on this, if I just add it, you can see this is the same value. So total YTD and total QTD are same. Okay. So total QTD, where is total QTD? Yeah. Okay. If you want to change it to April, for April, the total QTD will be only April's data. Only April's data, which is 135. Let's try to check it. See, only 135. YTD is changing because YTD is nothing but the combination of all the months till date. If you select April, that means combination of January, February, March, April. QTD means combination of all the quarters. April falls under second quarter. So it is only 135. If you do it May, it will be combination of April and May, which will be 260. Okay. June will be 409. July will be 170. This is all about QTD. Similarly, all these functions are also there. Total MTD previous. You can see what I am doing here. I have calculated a total MTD previous function. That means if I am selecting July 1950, so July 1950 is where? Here. What is the previous year data? That means what is July 1949's data? See, so why do we need this? Sometimes when we are using, when we are doing some sales analysis or something like that, there will be certain scenarios where your manager would also be interested in comparing the current data with the previous year data, right? So this is where you have to create these DAX functions. Okay. So let's say here, this one, what we have done, we have used calculate function. Here I am passing total MTD. That means I have already calculated total MTD. What is the total month till date value? As a filter, I am using same period last year. Okay. And then in that I am passing the month. That means this particular function is nothing but you can simply same period last year. This is nothing but returns a set of dates in the current selection from the previous year. Okay, that means Power BI has already created this function so that directly you can call the previous year data. Okay, you don't have to use a separate filter of date my equals to date minus one. It's very difficult. So Power BI has already given you this particular DAX function. Okay, done. Similarly, I'll also go through total QTD. Again, these are, if you understand one, then others are very simple. Here you have done the total QTD. On top of that, you are finding it for the previous year. That's it. Same goes with total YTD previous. Now, this is where your manager can compare. Oh, so total YTD or total MTD this year is greater than the previous year. See here, you can also use some KPI metrics and all those things to compare as well. Okay, but KPIs and all I will be covering in the next class. So I'm not getting into KPIs right now. Okay. But usually when you compare these values like this, previous year with this year, then you always need KPI charts, key performance indicator charts. Okay. Now this is all about your time intelligence function. There's so many time intelligence functions are used. So in short, today in time intelligence, whatever you studied, total MTD, you studied total YTD, total QTD, you also studied same period last year, and you also studied previous month, next month. Okay, all these things you already studied, right? So what else? Anything else I'm missing in time intelligence? I think these are, yeah, I think these are the things. I will quickly jump into the next class. The next topic is previous month, also I covered, right? Previous month, and so you are using previous month and next month as a filter. Okay, previous month and next month. So this is the last class, X versus non-X functions, and then we'll quickly wind up the class. And next class, just I'm showing you the topics. Do not miss the next class, because this is where, I mean, you should not miss any of the classes. It's not because I want you as viewers, it's nothing like that. But yeah, just leverage. If I'm giving classes, just leverage it. Okay. We'll be learning tool tips. We'll be learning how, what are the different data types, what is Power BI relationships, manipulating relationships, visuals. We'll also talk about, these are again some basic concepts. Charts are also very basic. Key KPI is very important. KPI is very important. We'll cover that. Edit interactions. Yes, sometimes you work on reports, right? You have multiple reports. You don't want, if I change something in the filter, this dashboard or this report should not change. This is also possible in Power BI using edit interactions. Formatting options will cover. Row level security, very important concept in Power BI, row level security. Okay. Yes, time intelligence will be provided. Let's cover the last class, which is X versus non-X. Where is that? Yeah, X versus non-X. Now, X versus non-X, again, in non-X functions, you have multiple aggregate functions like sum, average, min, max, all these things. Sum is an aggregator function, and sum is used as a measure, right? It works like a measure, calculating based on the current filter context. Simple. But sum x is an iterator function. It works row by row. Sum x has awareness of rows in a table and can reference the intersection of each row with any columns in the table. So what is the difference between sum and sum x? I'll take the questions in some time. Okay. So what is the difference between sum and sum x? Again, I will explain using a simple example. I'll just close it off. I'll open another file related to x and non-x functions. Okay. Now, so here I'm using total average x. Okay, okay. So I will explain you an example of how, when and where you use sum x function. Okay. Now just imagine this one. Let me just turn off these things. Now this is your data. Okay, for an example. Now in your data, there is a column called as total. Okay. Now total is nothing but, total is this formula. Total is equals to unit price. I'll write it as UP multiplied with quantity plus tax. I think this is the formula. Let me just validate using the first record. Unit price is 74.69 multiplied with 7, which is 522, plus 26.1415, which is 548.9715. Okay, this is the formula. So this total column is nothing but, it's a mathematical column, right? It is a combination of these three columns. Now, can we get the same output, whatever we did it in total, can we get the same output without creating a new column? Because if you are creating a column, that means initially you had 16 columns, now you have 17 columns, right? So when you increase columns, that means your data set is increasing. That means your Power BI will be little bit slower because you are adding more data to it, right? It's quite obvious, right? So if you have an Excel sheet, now this Excel sheet is, let's say, 1 MB. Now if you add 5 more columns, if you copy paste these columns and add few more columns, so definitely your data will, like, the size will increase, right? It's quite obvious. Similarly, in Power BI also, there is a concept which you can use to create this column on the go. That means this total column will be created in memory. You don't have to physically create it. And this is where your X functions comes into picture. X functions comes into picture. So X functions are nothing but iterator functions. They work row to row. Like sum is a measure, right? Sum X mostly is used as a calculated column because it works row by row. Okay, so we will be using the same concept and we will be creating the sum X function. I'll quickly go to the Power BI file. Now I have already created this. Let me just close it off. So this is what we have created using SumX function. I am passing all these attributes. Let me just cancel it out and recreate a new function. Okay. So let's say I have created SumX function. SumX of what? Of table. Let's say my table is super sales Power BI, comma. It is asking for expression. What is the expression? Expression is nothing but my formula. So I have unit price multiplied with quantity plus tax. So what I will do? Unit price multiplied with quantity plus tax. Then bracket close and then tick. Now from this, I will just remove it. Now this is my total, right? I will add my newly created SumX function. Okay. Okay, 1 second. I think I did some mistake. Okay, I got it. So SumX, basically SumX, okay, it SumX works as a, I got it. So SumX basically works row by row, but it is a measure, I think. So let me just and create another measure. SumX function measure equals to this. Mistakes happen. It's okay. So here SumX measure, I will add it. Yes, you can see. So SumX is a measure. It's a special measure, but it works on row to row. Okay, you can see you don't need the total column because you already have this newly created measure, right? So this is where your you can use SumX function here. Similarly, let's say you want to find the average of total or average of that particular column. In that case, you can also use AverageX. Okay. So these are some different X and non-X function. Average A and average X. Average is nothing but averages out the data. Average A is nothing but considers non-integer values. Average X is your special type of X function. What is average and what is average A? I think I will explain it using Excel, because average A, it's, is it present in Power BI? I don't know. Let's say this equals to average. Okay, it's there. Okay, I will explain what is average A. Okay, imagine I have data like this. 30. What will be the average? The average will be this, right? Imagine I have data like this. Okay, shit. Okay, imagine I have data like this. Now, what will be the average of these five numbers? Automatically, it will identify this particular cell as a null value and it will give you the same output. Okay, same, I will do it with average A. Average A of this. This will also give you the same value. Now, what is the difference between average and average A? See, difference is very simple. Imagine you have a character in it. That means this is not a number. Now, in this case, if you do average, it will identify only the numerical values and give you the same average. But if you call average A, it will treat this A as a number and it will treat it as 0. And then the output will be 5 plus 15, which is 20, plus 20, which is 40, plus 30, which is 70. 70 divided by 5 is 14. So this is the difference between average and average A. Similarly, you can also do it in your Power BI as well. Average and average A. Okay. So that is all about today's class, and we can wind up here. Somehow I covered a lot into DAX functions. See, DAX is basically like an ocean. There are so many DAX functions, but nobody can teach you each and everything. It's all practice. The moment you start working on dashboards, the moment you start working on use cases, on the go you will get all these scenarios. On the go you will understand, oh, this is what I need to do, and then you start searching it on the web, and then you get to know, oh, so there is a DAX function like this, and then you start working on it. This is how things work. Now I have 15 minutes time, as I don't have time basically, but I will take 5-10 minutes or 15 minutes to take your questions. Okay, so let me see the chat box. Okay, I'm not able to see. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let's take questions. Let me just share question and answers. Okay, 1 second, 1 second. Okay, stop screen. Give me 1 second. Window. Okay, yeah, let me. So we have this. Thank you. What's going on? Something is wrong. This tool is so annoying. It's very difficult. Okay. Okay, I think this is a better screen. Okay, now I'll go through the questions, and people who are basically the class is done. So you can leave the class if you want to, nothing to worry about. If you are leaving it right now, make sure you join the next class, which is conducted on 3rd of April. Yeah, 3rd of April. And then that's going to be potentially the last class where we'll talk about everything. And then 10th of April will be the live dashboard. So we'll be taking one of the case studies, and then we will be doing a live dashboard in front of you. Definitely I will not be able to do a very end to end dashboard. Somehow 30-40% I will already finish it beforehand, because 2 hours is very difficult to finish an entire dashboard. But I will give you an idea on how to create dashboards. But rest you already know that on my channel I have so many videos on Power BI. Simply go to my channel, go to my playlist. There is a playlist called as Power BI projects. In that you will see a lot of projects in that. And once you start looking at the dashboards, you will get ideas on how to create some creative dashboards and all those things. And some other ideas to create dashboards as well. Like what I usually do is, let's say you are working on a dashboard like a e-commerce dashboard. So what I do is I simply go to the web, start searching in for e-commerce dashboards, and then, you know, I get some ideas. Okay, this is how people have done it, and then I take those ideas and create my own dashboards. This is how I work when I work on some POC dashboards. But definitely when you are working on organizational point of view, they will already be giving you ideas on how to create dashboards, which colors you should use, because it has to be company colors, right? You cannot simply randomly use pink, white, black, whatever you feel like, right? Okay, let's go through questions, guys. Any questions in the chat box? People who are regularly joining the streams in the next class probably will have an attendance as well, because I need the attendance so that I can invite 20, 30, or 50 people to join my Udemy course as well, which is going to be given for free. And others definitely will get some discounts, probably something like that. I'm planning this way, that 40, 50 I will give it for free, and rest has to be a minimal charge of 300 or 350, something like that. In case you are interested in my classes, you can watch out those videos whenever you want to, right? Because these streaming videos will be private in couple of days. Calculated columns are also measures. No, calculated columns are not measures. Okay, I don't see any question. How to deal daylight saving time? Deal daylight save. I don't understand this one. Which DAX function we have to use in particular time? Again, this is experience. I cannot simply tell you. You have to. There are no rules that this scenario use this scenario use that. So I cannot tell you this way, right? It's very difficult to tell. So it's all experience. Once you start working on it, then you will automatically answer these questions. It will You will automatically answer these questions in your head only. You are just asking these questions because you haven't started working on Power BI maybe. So don't worry, jump in, directly jump in. Okay, so next question is by Gaurav Rajpal, who is asking, can we handle using is error or is blank? Yes, is blank is a DAX which is there in Power BI. Probably I cannot share my screen right now, but yes, is blank is already um, it's a DAX function already available in Power BI. So whatever is available in Excel, it's already by default available in Power BI. On top of that, there are many more functions as well, right? I think this question was already asked initially, Shahin Khan. When can we add date add functions? They're very difficult to tell you the scenarios, but maybe for an example, if you're, let's say you are capturing date is probably you are, okay, I'll give you a scenario. For example, your database is collecting data, right? And some of the data points, I think it's very difficult to tell you an example. Maybe if you are in the WhatsApp group, I will try to think and tell you a better scenario. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, I'll answer you in the WhatsApp group. If you haven't joined the WhatsApp group, you can join it. Can we also find? Yeah, I think I already showed this on the go. Difference between order date and ship date. is, yeah, correct. Yeah, order date and shipping date, yes, could be one of the scenarios. Any other questions? Okay, does Power BI creates date hierarchy by default? Yes, hierarchies are automatically created in Power BI. I think in Tableau also it was initially, no, Tableau we had to create it, but right now with the latest updates, Tableau also automatically creates hierarchies. In Power BI, it has already it is always by default. So hierarchies from day one itself are created automatically. Okay, by default. Okay. Where is data available? I think I already told. Data is on my GitHub repositories. My GitHub link is on the screen. Just remember the last few profile data. I'll just make sure it is visible. github.com/pik1989. Okay, and then search for churn and you will be able to get it. But today's class, I did some more data, right? I used some more data as well. So wait for some minutes. After the stream is over, check out the description again. You will see the data. Okay, I will upload it. Can we connect Power BI gateway? Yes, I will teach gateways in the next class. Gateways, row level security, all these are going to be covered in the next class. But if you don't have pro, you will not be able to use gateways. If we have two filters like getting charges based on gender and age, can we still use without filter charges based on age? Yeah, no. You need that filter keyword. Okay. Few more questions. How can I make multiple between TOW values? I am not able to understand this, Mona. If you can, I don't understand this question. Probably you can re-ask me. If you are a part of the WhatsApp group, you can ask me there. How do we calculate? I think I already showed how to calculate. Okay, if the fiscal year is different than calendar year, how can the fiscal year different be the different than the calendar year? You want to select YTD QTD for a different year, then you can select the year, right? You can keep the year as a filter as well or a slicer. Yeah, time intelligence PBX file will be shared to you. Would going through the iNeurons, one neurons previous BA recommended for learning Power BI? Yeah, you can go through that also. No problem. Divide, I knew to the, okay, divide. Thank you for your valuable time. Good. Thank you. Link for the, okay, link for GitHub is already given. How to remove blank in dataset? You can, there are multiple methods. One is using Power Query Editor. You can go ahead and replace values, or else using DAX functions also. Okay, simply you can search it on Google. You will definitely get it and try it out. If not, I can probably tell you in the next class. Okay, so already we have passed the time. It's 11:50 local time for me, which is around 9:15 for you. 9:15, 9:20. So that's it. Thank you all for joining the session. In the next class, we will be what kind of starting question asked for client dashboard making for understand better. I mean, if I understand your question correctly, what does client require you? Can you reframe your question again and ask me, Devashish? Okay, in the meanwhile, if you haven't seen day one is always going to be public, so nothing to worry about. Day two, day three, day four, I will keep the stream private immediately after 2 3 days. So if you haven't watched it, watch it right now or watch it in the next 2 days. I will make the streams private, probably. I cannot guarantee. So just for safety, you can watch it immediately or take 2 days and watch it out. And make sure you join the next class. We will see you in the next class, guys. Thank you for joining in, and that's it. Keep sharing and keep promoting the channel as well. And let's try to touch 20K. I'm almost near, almost 19,000. So it will be great if you post on your LinkedIn profiles as well that you are attending a session like this. You can also mention link one and link two, like the previous day link and today's link. Post it in your LinkedIn profiles, tag me, whatever possible way. If you want to promote, help me out, because I'm giving everything for free, so make sure I get subscribers as well, right? So that's all about this particular class. Will it be complete? Yeah, it is complete. Today is the second class, so 4 hours is already done, and next 4 hours finish. Okay, see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Next Sunday. Bye.